Hey, welcome back to the Blue Collar Off-Road Podcast, episode 194. I'm Graham. I'm here with Luke, Richie, and Cody. I feel like I said that in a weird order. I don't know
You
why.
did say it in a weird order, right? Because I thought it was a weird order, but I just didn't want to say
Okay.
anything. It's like, damn, I
As soon
got
as I
put
said it, it just
last.
didn't feel right. Um, this week we have Greg Bartonek on, and anybody who knows Greg probably knows him for one specific vehicle. But I know you also have a YJ. And I know,
Yes.
I don't know of any other vehicles you've had. Have you had a Cherokee?
Oh, for a brief,
All right, that's all that
Maybe
matters.
month?
Still counts.
Yes,
Still
you
counts.
have
Yeah.
one. It
He's a
counts.
very, very part-time Cherokee owner, though, so we'll cut him some slack because, a month isn't that long in the grand scheme of things.
I owned a TJ for a day. Does that count?
You're a Wrangler dude now.
It fell apart
No
in
wonder
my
he keeps-
driveway.
No wonder he keeps trying to put clean body panels on the XJ. It's just that 1 month of or 1 day of owning a TJ. It's got them all fucked up,
Yeah,
bro.
that thing was clapped.
They're
it wasn't
all
even
clapped.
technically mine, but it lived in my driveway, and I was technically I paid for it, so it was mine for that day, and then it got scrapped by the person who wanted to buy it. I think Dave bought it. It was some Dave thing. Either way, we're not here for that.
You haven't
so-
even introduced the guest yet.
Yeah, I kind of
didn't.
did. This is Greg. I don't even know how you pronounce your Instagram name, but WedYJ. That's your
Yeah,
Instagram.
you
That's
nailed-
where how a
you
lot of
nailed-
people.
you
Oh,
nailed it.
perfect. I mean, I figured it
Most
was
people-
that simple, but
Most people don't.
what? Okay, before we get into the YJ, I want to start with the YJ because that's what you started
Wait,
with,
what?
right?
Before we get into the YJ, let's start with the YJ.
Before
We
It's
can't
great.
English today. I said he didn't
Yeah.
introduce the
How
guest.
about he
you know.
introduces himself too in that process? How's that sound?
Graham, I think Graham's doing a fantastic job.
He's a professional at this, I swear.
thanks, yeah. I don't know why I'm fucking this one up so bad. Where do you want to start? I'll ask you. How would you like to start, Greg? Where would you like to begin?
I guess we can start with my first Jeep,
Let's do that. That makes sense.
which would yeah,
Chronological.
which is so I have a 92 YJ, 4-cylinder.
Hell yeah.
The only thing that's that I haven't changed per se would be the engine. Still has a 4-cylinder in it. I've had that for I've been
No.
driving that since 2011, so long time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So 4-cylinder. Is it just you can't be bothered to change it to a 6-cylinder or anything else, or is it just good enough
I know.
for what you're doing with it?
It's good enough for wheeling,
Mhm.
street driving, which I used to drive it. I used to daily drive it, and it sucks on the highway. It sucked when it had 29-inch tires. It still sucks with 37s. Yeah, I a lot of people told me just oh, put a 6-cylinder, and I was like, how would I waste the time doing that? Put a 4.0 in it. I could go buy another YJ with a 4.0 and do that, but I have this YJ, so it's gonna kind of keep it going, I
Mhm.
replaced the engine once, and somehow it's still going.
Also, can I just throw a little grumblement in there about the 6-cylinder swaps? They are so fucking stupidly involved, it's not worth it. You have to swap out the steering column, if I remember correctly, because that is different.
What?
There's something with the way that the 4-cylinder motor mounts are versus the 6-cylinders that they have a slightly different steering, or the adapter off of the steering wheel to the box is different.
Really?
And
I had
yeah.
no idea. I never looked into it because I didn't carry enough to look into doing a swap. So
well, that's just another good reason to say fuck the swap and go LS when you finally decide to.
yeah, that's not gonna happen either. Not
well.
in the YJ. I don't know. I don't know. The 4-cylinder just works for me. and it's like it's such a staple, like with like all my like people I've been wheeling with for years and years. They're like,
Mm.
oh fucking Greg's got a 4-cylinder and he went up that obstacle, and like so and so with like a V8 or a 6-cylinder can't. You know,
Yeah, just a an extra level of I guess adds difficulty, right? Yeah, you can do anything with the V8. You can go up any ledge, but I just did that in the 4-cylinder, right? No,
yeah, when
so
I'm
if
like
you
halfway up
can't,
something and I stall,
yes.
I'm like, oh, I don't have enough power for that one.
I can't even imagine that. Like I'm dealing with that with my 4.0 right now. Like it's just especially at Roush, it's just incredibly apparent with that 4.0, which is not super happy, right? I was sitting on stuff and it just didn't have the balls to do what I wanted it to do. And yeah, that's got to be rough with the 4. So I don't know what the exact power difference is if you or Luke or somebody.
Give me 1 second here.
I can tell you from the factory, the 4-cylinder makes 120 horsepower and 139 foot-pounds of torque, I believe.
Jeez, that thing's a fucking race motor. Wow.
Yeah.
That's
Oh, it
actually
sounds
that's
good
not.
off the limiter.
I've seen Power Wheels make
I've heard
more
they do.
horsepower.
I heard they have a really fun limiter. Is it a
Yeah.
higher RPM? It rotates faster, right? At rev limiter.
I don't
It's
know
like
what the
doing-
4.0s bounce at, but I think mine, from what my tax says, which I don't know how accurate it is, but it's probably around 5,500.
Okay,
I
so
think
it's
it's a
pretty
4.0.
much the same then. I think
Yeah.
5s or 6 cylinders are like 52.
Yeah,
Mine-
and
I'm
the
saying, I'm saying the gauge looks around 5,500, and I'm really staring at it when I'm smashing the thing.
Well, why not?
I got looking where I'm going.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Usually, when you're at limiter, it's because you're going somewhere quickly, and you want to make sure you're still going that direction.
There's no quickly with the 4-cylinder. It just kind of gets there.
moderately.
Yeah.
And he's down to 70 horsepower from the factory. Our 4 liters are probably both combined making 128 horsepower.
Oh my god. Yeah, I don't know where it all goes, but it's not making it to the wheels. I don't even
Parasitic
think it's
draw.
making it out of the crank. Um, I had a.
So what's done
question.
to the YJ? Like, what's actually done to it other than just the 4-cylinder?
I can go through like my whole build progression with that thing
Yeah.
if you really want me
Yeah.
to.
Yeah, let's do
Please
that.
do. Hell yeah.
So I think initially I was just like put a lift kit on it. I had like 31-inch tires that like a friend gave me, and I was like, I had to be 18 or so, and I was like, this is awesome, this is so cool, and kind of just took it on like the little, local stuff on Long Island where I live, and it's not really legal, but we're not talking about the legal side of things. And it just was like ripped through like sand and stuff like that. There's some like hill climbs and this, that, and it was fun. And kind of had, been always looking at off-road magazines, this, that, and like kind of like knew I wanted 35s, and I was not keeping the stock rear axle on that thing, Dana 35. Like I knew before I even like actually took a legitimate wheeling, I was like, this thing's getting axle swapped, So I was like, super simple. It's leaf springs. We'll just get, leaf mounts, this, that, and ended up getting a Ford 9-inch from like a late 70s Bronco or F-150, so 5 inches wider than stock. And then for the front end, I didn't really, for some reason, I was like, let's keep redundancy with this thing. So I got a Curry Ford 9-inch front housing with Dana 44 outers on it.
Jesus.
Ended up getting
Okay.
knuckles. Yeah, ended up getting knuckles from a late 70s Ford Dana 44. So all like off the shelf parts, pretty much for everything except the front inner axle shafts. And wanted to
What are
keep
you running for
redundancy, like
front?
in case
Front
or-
inners. So you're running you're still running the 44U joints on that thing?
yes, but chromo shafts up front.
Okay.
I originally had just chromo inners, and then I exploded a stock Dana 44 outer
They
stub,
like
and I
to
was
do
like,
that.
all right. Yes, I think it's still 19 spline. Like I didn't even upgrade to a 30 spline outers. Like I don't know. I've snapped the chromo stub. It's I don't know. Just toss another one in. I think I have an extra one laying around at home.
I mean,
With the
also you don't
4-cylinder,
have
it
enough
kind of like
horsepower.
yeah, with the 4-cylinder, it's like very rare that happens. And when it does, it's like a quote unquote high wheel speed. But with a 4-cylinder, you don't have that. But the sudden stop's what breaks everything.
Mm-hmm.
I did the axles, and the rear has a Detroit. The front has a mini spool. And then it has locking hubs on it, like from a 44, obviously, so I could drive it on the street and not, and steer.
Mhm.
What else does it have? Oh man, I haven't really used it in about 2 years, so it's kind of been a while.
Hydro assist, no hydro assist.
No hydro. It's got a Durango box on it, and it's awesome.
So is that
It works.
actually an upgrade?
No,
Does it actually do anything?
no, you gain like a little bit of shaft size, and that's about it.
Hey, shaft size is important.
I think
The
it's like
bore on the I believe the bore on the box is slightly larger.
It's like a very moderate upgrade, like a 3% upgrade over factory if you were to compare. I'm talking like
Yeah.
percentage of an upgrade wise. I don't know what the actual difference in the bore size is. I know that it's different enough that it starts getting fucky with hydro assist.
Really?
And
What do you mean it gets fucky with hydro assist?
there's something about the porting in the factory Cherokee box that makes it better to port for hydro assist than a Dakota box.
You
This
mean
is
like
going
where the
off.
holes go?
I think it
Because
has
there's
to do
definitely
with
no difference.
the internal porting.
Oh, like the valving on the box itself?
Yes.
Okay.
That
could make more sense. I don't
this
know.
is going off
they're
of old Pirate 4x4 info and why I decided to just say fuck it and keep the XJ box and then just go through my list of tapped XJ boxes. Which, by the way, Logan still wants a tapped XJ box.
I know it's sitting on my bench. It's sitting on my bench. If he's listening, I haven't forgotten about it. It's still there.
You just forgot about it. That's all.
No, I didn't forget about it. I just haven't. I've had a million other things going on. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I to stay on the steering box topic, I wasn't sure how the J20 box was gonna handle 40s. And granted, the truck is still relatively light. I didn't put like a bigger axle in it. I don't know if that would have made a difference with like pressure on the ground to the tires, but it steers like it's still on the 32s or whatever it used to have. It steers better than the Dodge, and I did nothing.
That's how mine was. My
Okay.
J20 is the same way with the 40s.
I don't know, and I don't know if that's the pump or the box or what the deal is, but I mean, it shouldn't steer. I feel like it shouldn't steer as well as it should or as it does because like if you did that to an XJ, it'd hate life. I don't know. I never put 40s on a stock axle Cherokee with a stock box and nothing else done to it, but I just feel like you wouldn't have a good time. So I don't know. I think maybe I did with the no, I never drove it. I never drove it with the 37s in the Dana 50 without the hydro assist, I don't think. I may have moved it around, but I didn't like actually spend any time on the road with it.
The J20 has a larger bore steering box than the J10 and Wagoneer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so that might have something to do with it.
Probably. It's
a little more heavy duty.
It is pretty
I guess
impressive
so.
though. It doesn't really give a shit about the 40s. It's pretty cool.
No, it really doesn't. And oh man, I'll save that for later. We'll talk about my shit later. I don't
we'll get into that.
Let's talk about your stuff.
So I was on the YJ. Where was I
Yes.
at?
Steering
I told
boxes,
you about my
and then we got
axles, steering box. So I did a NV 3550 swap from a TJ, which is basically a AX15 with a slightly lower first gear.
Mm-hmm.
Did that with a Dakota bell housing. Went to an external slave cylinder on it, so it made it a lot easier when that failed.
Yeah,
it does once in a while.
That's the worst part. That's the worst part about internal slave bullshit.
Yeah. Then
and they break a lot.
Behind that's a flipped Dana 300 that is bone stock. I don't know how the output shaft on that hasn't broke yet, but it's still in there because the internet says that you'll shatter that output shaft, but I don't know. Mine's still going somehow.
I am that part of the internet. I managed to snap 2 outputs in one go in less than a minute of driving someone else's rig.
Was there a V8
It was on
involved?
42s. No, it was straight 6.
Straight
42 is
6.
doubler box though.
Yeah, they couldn't get it to go into double low. I kicked it a couple of times and suddenly it was in double low and the outputs left the chat in about that amount of time.
Yeah, it was pretty impressive.
Yikes.
It was within how long? 30 seconds of you going into the trail.
The first
Uh,
thing he hit.
First obstacle I hit in it, and it was at Richie's place. It broke the front rear outputs and did some fine dental work as well.
And it was very loud.
I would think that much steel exploding should probably not be quiet.
Yeah,
I don't-
that's your typical Dana 300 story. Not mine though. I don't know. Somehow it's
Some
still going.
people-
I mean, I guess lack of power.
Lack of power. If the rig's light, they can survive in certain scenarios, but
And auto to manual. I mean, there's like a few different things because like
no,
I guess that wouldn't matter. That wouldn't matter. That'd probably
Miguel's
be harder.
Jeep is an auto. It
Yeah,
still
didn't
hadn't-
he just say that he has a manual in the fucking?
Manuals are
YJ?
harder on shit.
That's
Yeah.
exactly. That's why I corrected myself. But yeah, no, I was trying to say that the only difference for this exact scenario was that. That's all.
Well, and 42s was also there. Also, I think it was
big
moving,
back.
and then all 4 wheels were off the ground, and all 4 wheels are back on the ground for a split second.
That'll
Or like
do
weight
that.
was off. They might not have been off the ground, but there was not a lot of weight
they
on them.
were off the ground for sure. Those 43 SXs definitely got airborne. Not intentionally, but like that was my first time driving that thing with a double low in there. And yeah, I
And
just
he
kinda
hadn't driven it in double low all day because they were
not able to get it to go
they-
in.
Well, yeah, they either couldn't get it to go in or they thought it was the other way around. I forget what it was. But then I remember they brought it out to the field messing with it, saying it wouldn't work, and I just like got it to shift in there, and I was like, "There you go, you're in 4 low or low." Yeah, it was sad. That killed it very fast.
Some would call it an instantaneous explosion. But truthfully, I don't think the 300s are that bad anymore. I just think that they have a niche, and their niche is not anywhere near me with a factory case.
No, I don't think so at all.
Um,
Yes, you can't be doing clutch dumps with a Dana 300. I think that would just end its life very quickly and violently.
Well, there's no fun in that if I can't clutch dump.
Well, I mean, I guess you can get one of those. Who makes cases for them now? Someone makes like billet
Behemoth.
kids. Yeah.
Behemoth. Stack used to. There's a couple other ones now.
Yeah, isn't
that
one
are
of them
popping
making a
up.
billet one?
One of them was making a cast. There's a new cast case coming out that's supposed to be stronger. I think that is also Behemoth.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
Behemoth makes
Okay,
a billet
that's
and a
cool.
cast.
Yeah.
Supposedly, I can't say too much, but rumblings are there might even be something for the 205
From where?
Behemoth.
Oh, Behemoth. Yeah. Potentially.
Yeah, didn't what's his name say that when he was on?
You don't need that. You don't need that though. It's already got a perfectly good case. It's just a little heavy.
Yeah, but billet. You know what I'm saying?
And
It's
I think we
bougie.
went over this in a podcast. Billet is for babies.
Yeah, or for
Yeah.
ballers. One of the
Nah.
two. Babies and ballers.
I feel bad dragging aluminum things on rocks, and it gets all sharp and gross, and my baby hands are gonna get all ripped up when I touch it. Cast iron though, that shit just smooths out. It gets better with age. Aluminum, not the case.
The only problem with cast iron is when cast iron says "fuck it, I'm done." It's not a
It's
gentle
done.
"fuck it, I'm done." It's a I'm going to drop the output gear set completely on the ground, separate from everything else, and the rest of the case is just in fucking a shattered pile around it.
Yeah, well, I mean, if a chunk blows off of it,
Yeah.
right, you can do the classic old fix a block thing where you just drill and tap holes and you put bolts in it. Or maybe that's for a crack. I don't know if you could do that if it was a full chunk missing.
You cannot do that for a full chunk.
No, that
Put on
wouldn't work.
JB welding with the.
But
a
if
leaf.
it's just a crack, you just fucking drill drill a hole, tap it, put a bolt in, drill another hole, tap it, put a bolt in, and cut it flush. It's stronger than factory.
No, you just
can
fucking
do
cover
that?
it with flex tape.
Yeah, it's a thing.
It's called stitching, and what you're supposed to do is we have to do this at work from time to time. What you do is you set it up and you drill the first hole, you put the bolt in, then you drill the next hole, you send that like 3/4 of the way over, and you tap the bolt that you just drilled in there, and you keep doing that all the way down the crack, so that way it locks everything in place.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
It works
Sick.
really fucking well, and it also works really well in aluminum.
Yeah, but aluminum's weak.
I'm just saying, like,
It's bendy.
what I have
It's
to
bendy.
do it in.
If you want something to be bendy, I don't know about you. I don't want my case bendy.
6061 is not bendy. 6061 is shattery. 7075 is more bendy but resistant to being bendy.
Those are
This
some
is
big
a,
words.
This is a complete tangent, but
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know about you. I've never seen and I've just never personally seen it on the internet. A 205 output, not the shaft, but like the housing that the output shaft goes through with the seal. I've never seen one of those cracked on a 205, but I've seen a couple videos of, usually it's Ultra 4 stuff, so it's like you gotta be really fucking pushing shit. But the Atlases will crack their output like housings, and it's a mess. I don't know how you do that, but it sounds not cool. I wouldn't like the case. The case I waited a year for and spent $4,000 on cracking like that.
Lots of horsepower will do that to just about anything.
I suppose.
A lot of 205s have died in sled pulling as a result of the horsepower and torque running through them in that manner that was described, where it just shatters it. But that's throwing a shit ton of horsepower and torque at it, just like an Ultra 4 car would to an Atlas.
Yeah, I suppose they're probably about on par. Anyways, sorry, got wound up.
Omega tangent over. I do have to say I like the tire choice on the YJ. Classy.
Oh yeah, they're pretty
What are
good.
the
Those
tires?
Mickeys, I like them.
Oh, the Mickeys.
They're not stickies. I'm sorry, but
That's
street
fine.
driver.
It's a street driver.
Yeah, they work pretty good.
You should ruin your tires driving them on the road. Come on, get a pair of stickies. Gosh, don't you know how the internet works now?
Those front tires are wrecked because my alignment's all jacked up. Like the rears look brand new and the fronts are like half them are bald. Like the outside, it's terrible.
Well, it makes it easier. You spend less money on tires because you only have to buy 2 at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now you just swap the rears to the front.
Now.
Yeah, you ain't fucking kidding, dude.
Hey, you can get a set of red labels for $500 in New England.
Can you?
Yeah, Mike Craig's selling some for $500. They're like in better shape than mine.
Go grab them, you motherfucker.
I'd buy them if I like needed tires, but I don't, and I have spent way too much money.
Split them up with me so I can have a sticky spare. It's just gonna sit on a fucking...
You're not allowed to have red labels. You have to have Mickeys.
I just want a spare fucking tire.
I can give you a. Oh no! I already promised Cody 2.0 that he gets my old Trepador.
It has to be a sticky. That's the thing.
Why does it have to be sticky?
Because I want to have a sticky spare.
Yeah, I kind of get it. It's bougie, but I get it.
Best I can offer is a razor with a sidewall patch.
Well, then that's not really better than my Nitto with a sidewall patch.
Hey, but it
choose that as
is.
spare.
But that Nitto with the sidewall patch is supposed to be going to Kish with other stuff eventually.
No.
Yeah,
keep it as
it's
a
on
spare.
Kish's rim.
Oh. Well, I don't know how to help you.
There isn't a lot of help.
I'm done buying tires. I'm not buying any more. Do you want to buy some Duck Commanders? Some 32 Duck Commanders?
You could probably sell them on Facebook. I bet you some motherfucker would buy them.
Probably could. I gotta sell a couple things.
See,
I got somebody
I
coming to
didn't
look
think.
at the 727. We're on another tangent again.
I mean, we're talking about tires though, so it's okay. So now I'm all jacked up on Mountain Dew and ready to go. I didn't think remember back when I had those fucking IROCs? I remember I was gonna sell them for $100. Didn't give a fuck. And then Luke was like, "Are you dumb?" I'm like, "Yeah, kind of." He's like, "But put them up there for $600. Somebody will offer you like 500." And I'm like, "Nah, no fucking way." Within not even 30 minutes of me having them posted, some guy was like, "Yo, I'll give you $550 for them. Will you take it?" I'm like, "Yes." Like, what the fuck? Sure.
I fucking told you. And it's
Yeah.
stupid too, because when you post something for $100, you'll have a tire kicker that will not show the fuck up, and you're like, dude, I just want this shit gone. And then you post something up for a stupid price, and dudes are like, yeah, no, I want those. Here's the money. Would you take $100 less? Yeah, dude.
That's kind of like when I got Kate's wheels way back when I didn't think I'd get anything for her tires, and I think I sold those for like $200. Granted, like they were in good shape, but still, I didn't think I'd get anything for them. So definitely post those online. I bet you somebody would buy them.
Yeah, they're in decent shape.
Yeah, somebody would buy them. Especially the Duck Commanders. You could like wear a beard and pretend you're one of them. You know what I mean? Be like, yeah, it comes with your own sweet tea or whatever. Like, it'd be good.
They're like Duck Dynasty branded
Yeah,
Coopers or whatever.
Yep.
It's such a stupid tire, but it's like I don't think they make them anymore, so it's kind of a rare item. $1,000, you can have the Duck Commanders.
Put them up there on Facebook. Say rare, super rare Duck Commanders.
They come with the rusted out 8x6.5 rim.
Some hillbilly will show up and buy them.
Probably.
Then you'll have the people be like, "Will you take half if you keep the wheels?" Like, no, motherfucker, I don't want the wheels anyways. Just take them. The wheels are pretty much free. Like, love those days. Good times.
Yeah. Good time.
But anyways, back to the YJ. Okay, so you got what were we on to? We was talking about the doubler. What happened after the doubler? What'd you do next with it?
No, it wasn't a doubler. It was just a 300.
There's no doubler.
Oh shit! Oh, my apologies. I'm so used to three people. I'm so sorry.
I don't
Go
have.
ahead. Anyways,
I don't have that. I don't have doubler money.
Me neither.
They got expensive. They're fucking pricey now.
Yeah.
Where were we? Oh, we were talking about tires.
Yes.
Yeah, I got 37-inch Mickey Thompson Baja Boss, right? Is that what they are? I don't even remember.
Yeah, they're bosses.
Yeah.
How have I become the Mickey spokesperson here?
Because you have them and you don't shut up about the fucking things.
I like them. Let me enjoy something.
I know you like them. And the whole world knows you like them.
It's my autism. I get to choose my obsessions.
Dude, honestly, they're a really good road tire too for a mud terrain, and all mud terrains are terrible road tires, but they're pretty decent. I don't have too many complaints about them.
Supposedly the Falcon mud terrain's actually pretty good on road tire. I've heard that a lot of people put them on their trucks that they tow with, and have pretty good outcomes with them. Granted, they're not aggressive.
It's more like an all-terrain, though. It's not really. Yeah,
they're like a hybrid, right? But
they are good on the road, though.
Hey, Falcon, release them as a fucking sticky again, please, and thank you.
Yeah, and make them in 40.
Yeah, that too. No one wants a 38 sticky. Except for maybe this dude with his fucking YJ.
I thought about getting them. And I was like, I drive it on the road, so no.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't say that my tires would like being road driven a lot. They did not like Roush that much.
Were they getting beat up?
They're not getting beat up, but like you know how like the traditional sticky has all the edges are just completely rolled off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mine just were rolling like a motherfucker with all of the stupidity I was putting them through, and how like that rock there is super granity and, or maybe not
Were
granity. I
they
don't know what it is.
were they ripping? Was it ripping like chunks off the tire at all?
Yeah, yeah, it's starting to
Okay.
take chunks and
Yeah.
shit. They're just doing traditional sticky tire things, but Roush was real fucking bad on them compared to everywhere else.
Graham, did you notice any chunks missing on your tires?
Nope. I don't
Damn,
think
that's
He doesn't have enough
crazy.
tread
Damn,
to
that's
lose.
crazy. That's crazy. Mickey
He
Thompson's
doesn't have enough
superior,
tread
though.
to lose chunks, though.
Drive
It's
on
like-
dirt road, lose half a tire.
Might lose half my sidewall. The whole
True.
retread will fly off.
Fucking buddy behind you catching it on the windshield. We had that happen once way back when. It wasn't on a sticky, but we were going on the highway back. This is back when Marvell had his dually, the black dually. Going on the highway, all of a sudden we just heard whomp. It ripped the fucking bedside off the truck and smacked the person behind his windshield because the whole tread center ripped off the fucking tire. Crazy.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, good times. Good
That doesn't
times.
surprise me though. That
Yeah,
sounds like
no.
Marvel.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, back to the Jeep. Sorry, tangent after tangent.
Well, I feel like you're not exactly known for the wed YJ anymore. So do we
No.
want to?
I don't think so. A lot of people know me for the old
Prius.
J20 I have.
No, the Prius.
Yeah,
So that's
Prius.
how I know you.
Yeah.
You sold the YJ. Yeah, bought the Prius. You know, it's just one of those things, man. I get it. You know, in this economy, I can't blame you. No, just kidding. tell us about the J truck because that thing looks fucking sick.
It's so it's a 1974 Jeep J20. It's a kind of rotted pile of shit Northeast truck. Came from a farm in Connecticut.
Of course, it came from a farm in Connecticut. That's where all J20s come from, right, Grandpa?
Yeah, that is where they come from.
Is that where they're born?
We
Yep.
just grow them in
We're all
fields there.
born.
The
Oh
old
no,
J20
mine came
farm.
from, I think it was New York, and then it was in somewhere else. And
All
Connecticut.
right,
Yeah.
semantics.
You bought it from a farmhouse in Connecticut.
It was
right?
in a barn, yes. Or I don't know if it was in the barn. It was outside the barn. Probably was in the barn.
It was in the barn at one point in time because
I'm sure.
Richie and I remember when he bought it and was posting pictures of it in the barn.
Yep.
I remember seeing it in the barn.
Well, now you saw it in your yard. Anyways,
Graham, isn't your truck? What year is your truck?
87.
So that's the last year.
Oh, is it the last year? I thought they made 88s too.
Did they make 88s?
I think it's maybe that was like a half year or something, but I'm pretty sure 88 is technically the last year. So close to the last year. It has the newer style, like square cluster and all that bullshit.
AMC was dying at that point anyway.
Uh-huh.
AMC was bought out by Chrysler
When did that happen?
that
I
year.
don't remember.
That year.
That year? Oh, no shit.
Yeah, 80. I think 87. Yeah, it was that year.
87's the last year. I just looked it up.
Oh, is it?
Yep.
Jeep J20 last year production.
So you got a rare old one there, Grembo.
Like rare new one, actually.
Yeah, technically, my bad.
does that-
87
and-
is always going to be old to me.
So yours is a last year, and technically mine's a first year J20.
Oh shit, that's cool. What the fuck? That's kind of
That's right, because
cool
it was like
find out.
it was the JX 1000, whatever.
Yeah, there was
1000
mine was the
version it
first.
was.
74 was the first year for the J20, which was a
Yep.
8 lug. Everything before that, I believe, was 5 and 6 lug.
Oh, really? So
For
nothing.
for the heavier duty trucks. Yeah.
Huh. Okay. That's cool. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's so many differences between the just every year of these things. It's just ridiculous.
So now,
Yeah, so-
why did you buy a J truck? Is this something that like you were always sought after, or did it just come up? You thought it was cool, and you're like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna grab one."
I was genuinely looking for a J20 because in my mind, I was gonna restore it, make it nice, this, that, and then tow my YJ with it.
Oh hell yeah!
And that never happened.
How did that happen to where you're at, where you are now with it?
So I bought it. I drove it around for a couple years, fixed some things here and there. The bed was completely rotted. The floors needed to be done. I just didn't care. Just drove the thing. Stock AMC 360, had a T18, 4-speed in it, Dana 20. Bone stock, had a 3-inch lift on it from like rough country. That it was on the truck when I got it, so that was really the only thing that was done to the truck. And yeah, I got into a car accident with it and like crushed the door, so it kind of sat at my dad's shop for maybe 2 years or so, and then I went out to Hammers, or I think I went out to Moab for a trip, and I was like, I think I saw some stuff out there, and I was like, you know what, I need to build something else besides my YJ, where like I have something that's like kind of bigger, like maybe do 1 tons, bigger tires, a little more wheelbase, something that'll be a little bit better on ledges. And this whole debacle of my J20 started kind of getting built, which was me putting a set of 40s on it and chopping the fenders off so that they fit with a 3-inch lift.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, that is the right way to do big tires, is to just cut it away.
Well, I don't know, because I know it's a tough thing to, at least for me, it was a tough thing to swallow because I know how rare those fenders are. Like you can't get steel ones, I don't think, as of right now. I'm sure it wouldn't be that difficult for somebody to cut a good set off of a truck and make them like a mold, so you could stamp them or you could make them in some way. They're not complicated, but they are rare to get those fenders. So like when I was cutting mine off, I was part of me was looking at them like they were dented like to shit, pieces of crap, and I knew I had to take them off to make the tires fit. But the other part of me was like, it could, and I knew they looked pretty good without the fenders. You didn't need them, and I'm glad I did. They look stupid with them on it now that I look at them. But it's, I don't know. It's I think I scrapped them too.
I have no regrets cutting mine off.
I don't either anymore, but I was I was nervous.
In the moment, like I had it in my father still had an automotive shop. I had it in the shop on the lift. We put the 40s on it. My buddy was there with me, and I just started lowering the lift down. I was like, all right, well, we're gonna see what we have to cut, or if we have to cut. And the rear was, the rear fenders were a little rotted, so like, kind of let the tire down. It was like crunch, and I was like, all right, well, might as well just start cutting and just all 4, chopped them off. I cut them off, but I cut them off cleanly. If I really wanted to put them back on, I could. I think I ended up giving them to someone else that I know that has a couple full-size Jeeps.
Yeah,
so
I cut them.
I think they got repurposed, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. As soon as I started looking closer at my front ones, I found some spots that were kind of shitty. Probably something somebody could have fixed. I ended up cutting because I didn't want to cut the actual fender. Like there's that lip that rolls under, on the body line, and I wanted to keep that because it was in pretty good shape, honestly. Like for like a pinch seam, like butt welded together chunk of metal, there's really no rust in there. So I was like, okay, I'll just cut the fender off and take the fucking inside out at some point if I care. You can't really notice it, so I haven't bothered. But
that's exactly how mine are crushed. I mean,
okay. Cut.
Yes. I can't speak. Sorry.
Yeah, it's a really easy line to cut on, and this was, I was worried I was gonna, XJ it and cut it square, do something stupid. There's a lot of paying attention to that.
XJ, talk about XJ cuts. I cut one once with my plasma cutter. I think it was a 96 and older one. You just line the plasma cutter up with the factory plastic fender flares. Bam, perfect cut.
That's actually a good idea.
Yeah, just Let it right
Yeah.
out, no problem.
Does that work in the rear too?
You might light
I
insulation on
think
fire
so.
if you have it, but
Yeah,
yeah,
I
That's
that
what
think
I
was
was thinking. Yeah, shit's gonna catch on fire.
I don't listen. I don't know too much about XJs. The only one I had for about a month. It didn't run right, and then I scrapped it because it was not worth my time.
yeah. No, if they don't run right, they're worth nothing. They're junk. The
Yeah,
only thing
like,
worth
yeah,
anything is the motor and like the firewall.
so what are you gonna
like,
tell
the brake
Luke?
pedals?
Because Luke's is just not worth it anymore because it doesn't run right.
I don't know. I mean, it's like
Well-
it's. I guess it's not even the motor.
It's not
necessarily.
worth it.
It's the.
No.
It's just like firewall. It just gives you a base, right? For buggies or whatever. You can do whatever with it. Doesn't really care. Body doesn't. Body can fold in half. It'll still do things. But if it doesn't run, then you can't even fold the body in half. So what's the point?
At this point, it's just chasing the amount of time, effort, and money I have into the body to continue to try and make it run. Eventually, it's going to be a zero-sum game of loss.
I think you're there.
That hurts. That's all.
Sorry,
I can say.
I didn't mean that in a rude way. I just, but I get that is the one tough thing that kind of sucks about like this whole sport, right? Is like even if you do a souped up motor, even if you do all the fucking cage this and that, it's like fuck, where do you restart if you wanted to? It's not like you can just swap a cage over. Like, yeah, you can swap a motor, but then it's like, okay, back to re-stiffening everything, fucking cutting all the bullshit out again.
Well, that's where the whole argument from people is to just make a chassis.
Yeah, no,
Should
like
just weld them together. Because the suspension parts, right? You can repurpose joints and axles and wheels and tires and
motor,
links
the whole
and
train, like
motors and computers
driveline.
and I mean
Yeah.
whole clusters and firewalls if you want to and everything. All that stuff can transfer, but if you weld unibody or frame or any of that stuff, that's stuck with that. You can't move that over. So
you probably could, but it wouldn't be a good idea.
no, I mean, there's some examples, but they're not pretty ones.
the only place that I have to go from my rig is a chassis or just repowering. And that's the simple play. If I can't fix this 4.0, I'm supposed to do that this weekend, but not
What's
this
wrong with
weekend,
it?
next
Does
weekend.
it run? It turns on. Oh no, a distributor. That's right. It does run. just
Handhead
poorly.
gasket.
Oh, yeah.
Sam is the one, or not Sam, I'm sorry. Greg is the one that spotted that.
What, the wiggly distributor? Or the head
No,
gasket?
the head gasket shooting combustion gases into the overflow.
No.
I don't even think I saw it.
I thought that was you, because
No,
I pulled up
I
to
don't
you
think so,
guys
no.
in the Bronco.
I think you told me
Maybe
like
it's
the head
Bronco
gasket's
Boy.
like fucked or something, and I'm like, oh,
I
man,
guess
that
it was
sucks.
Bronco Boy.
Yeah, it was either
Bronco
Steven
boy,
or Kevin.
jeez.
Those Bronco boys.
All right, it was
Awful
not
trucks.
Logan Bronco Boy. It was other Bronco Boy that was there.
I guess that's a good. No, his doesn't even count as a
the
Bronco.
Big, dumb white Bronco.
Yeah, the big dumb white
Ryan?
Bronco.
Oh, Ryan?
No,
No.
other
Sorry,
Bronco.
wrong big white Bronco. My
He
bad.
wasn't at Roush. It was other white Bronco at
I know,
Roush.
I'm kidding.
I think
I'm
it was
kidding.
the OJ body style too, right?
Yeah, the OJ
Yes.
Bronco guy.
Yeah, OJ Bronco, man.
Oh, it's that year Bronco.
That
Got it.
those types of people.
Oh my god, I don't think you can say that. Serial killers, guys. That's what he's talking about. Okay? Well, he wasn't actually. He was a single murderer, but it's fine. It's okay. He wasn't a serial killer. Anyways.
Hey, we still don't know who burned
So-
down that farm.
What farm?
I asked our Bronco boy about it, and he has no clue. Wonder if there's a connection
They're all
there.
in on it. Yeah.
Serial farm burner.
I don't know what barn you're talking about.
I think it's like. I think it is a very ironic name for a farm. It's like Red Fire Farms. I was driving by it one day, and I was like, "Oh, that's gone."
And what does that to do with the Bronco?
nothing to do with a Bronco, but to do with a Bronco boy. I asked him a question about it, and he didn't know. And he started accusing
gotcha.
me
Yeah.
of burning the barn down, and obviously I didn't do that because I don't drive a Bronco. It's
If you've had any barns
sorry, it's
burned down,
gibberish. This is gibberish.
yeah, I was gonna say,
This
any
is just-
barns. Graham.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's a inside joke that only Ryan will understand.
Oh, good. Yeah. So, okay.
Yeah. I got distracted by food in the middle of that, so Graham burned down a barn.
Yeah,
No.
Red Fire Farms,
Okay.
apparently.
Anyways, can we get back to the J truck? Because there's a lot going on there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where were we?
There's a couple things.
You bought it. It's a rusty shit box. You put big tires on there, let the lift down, and crunch some rust.
Yeah, and I cut all the rust off of it.
It's the best way to do it.
Yeah, it kind of snowballed, so I bought well, the snowballing part, I put the 40s on it and put it back on the road, drove it around, the AMC 360 seized up on me, and I was like, well, I made a phone call and had a 6-liter LS about a month later. And then about 2 months after that, it was in the truck and running.
You still with the T18?
No. Oh yeah, I bought I had already purchased a Ford NP 435 and a 205
Okay.
transfer case. So I had that. Got a bell housing from Advanced Adapters. Figured out the whole clutch nonsense.
What'd
And
you
then,
do for the clutch nonsense? Because that's always been something that's interesting to me. I know that
that's a whole debacle in itself. So I got what did I get? I got a clutch disc for a Ford, which was the correct diameter and spline count. I
Mhm.
forget exactly what it is. Pilot bushing, whatever, just had that, machined out
Mhm.
to fit. I originally used a stock like LS, like 6-liter, NV 4500 truck, a flywheel and pressure plate, and ended up having to space the clutch fork out like half an inch for some reason, and I was like, well, that's weird. And I drove around like that for a while, and then my throw-up bearing started acting weird, making some weird noises, and I was like, huh. So I went on the internet and figured out that the crank flange on a LS versus a small block Chevy, which the bell housing is made for a small block Chevy, the crank flange is like 0.4 inches closer to the engine on the LS. So I needed to get a different flywheel, which
spacer.
I did. I just got
Okay.
a whole new flywheel. Yeah, I got a whole different flywheel, different pressure plate, and I used the same clutch disc because it was still like okay-ish.
Mhm.
And that was that whole debacle. But it was probably about 2 years of having it how it originally did it. It worked, but it wasn't like perfect, and it went into gear horribly. Like I was constantly adjusting the clutch linkage on it because it's still a mechanical clutch linkage, which is horrible. Yeah, I finally figured it all out, and it works pretty okay-ish now. I don't have too many problems.
What do you have for engine management on it?
Originally, I had just a like PSI standalone harness with a factory computer with like some bullshit tune that like some guy in my town did for me. It was never finished. Thing ran like it ran good. It would shut off when you push the clutch in and stuff. Like it wasn't perfect. And then eventually I put a Howie Terminator on it, and and then it was it was kind of like a night and day difference. I was able to actually like change parameters and this and that without having HP tuners.
Actually ruin it yourself, and then it's your fault when it doesn't work.
Yeah. Nah, yeah, it is my fault. It's been very good. It's very, very good. I haven't had actually, I really haven't had many issues at all. And I installed it on a Saturday night into a Sunday morning, basically, and was driving the truck. I drove it like 45 minutes from my house to my buddy's house after I did it all.
Sick. That's the best break-in.
So yeah, yeah, you just send it.
Just
Like, I
drive
don't
it
think
an
I had
hour. Yeah.
yeah, I had no issues, and I was like, all right, this is going okay.
And then you walk back out after you've been at your buddy's house for an hour or two or wherever, however long, and you're like, please, motherfucker, start.
Oh yeah, please, battery, don't be dead. You know, did I wire it right?
Yeah.
No, everything's hooked up correctly. So eventually I did 78, 79 Ford Dana 60 up front. Bolts right in a spring over setup in that truck, so I got a set of stock springs. Put that in. Got shock towers. Made my shock mounts and stuff for that. Kept it pretty simple. So the axles I bought came out of a YJ. They already had a high steer on them, and the steering actually just fit perfectly right up to the steering box. I obviously made a little adjustment for the drag link, to straighten my wheel out, but like that all went very well. And then out back, it's got a 14 bolt. The rear of the truck's not stock. Just say that. It's still on leaf springs because I'm poor. So I shortened the wheelbase about 6 inches in the truck. Did Chevy 63-inch leaves. Wrenched the front mounts up into the frame. And then bobbed the rear. I don't even know how much. I think I cut off the back of it. After shortening the wheelbase, I cut off like 2 feet of the frame in the back.
Just a little snip.
Yeah, just and then I cut more.
They're long. The trucks are so fucking long. They're kind of like
a full-size truck.
Yeah, it just when you're trying to wheel that, it's definitely not an ideal length.
I think mine's 100. I think I measured it recently. It's like 126-inch wheelbase now.
Still, after cutting 2 feet out of it.
Well, I only shortened the wheelbase.
Oh, you cut the body,
so.
but left the wheels. Okay.
No, I shortened the wheelbase on it in the rear.
Yeah, but you cut 2 feet of the frame off or the bed off?
Frame, because the bed's no longer.
Oh,
it's gone.
That's right. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, pulled the bed off and gave it away.
Yeah.
So are those just skins?
Yes, those are. You can buy bed sides for these trucks. So I bought 2 bed sides and chopped them up and kind of made them fit. Yeah, it's weird. You know why they're expensive?
They're fucking ridiculous. Why?
You know why? Because they include the shipping with them now.
Oh.
They put them in a crate. I got mine before they did that, and they just put them in a cardboard box, and they pretty much were almost flat.
Oof.
Except for the top corner was obviously like a 90-degree bend, so that wasn't flat. But the rest of them were flat. So
Jesus Christ.
It's not it's not perfect, but
yeah,
they're not flat. I bent them and made them kind of fit the body line pretty well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just a lot more work versus it being kind of. Yours are shaped now. They look like they mostly fit. They're not flat, but
no, I had to make them bend to the contour of the body so it looked like didn't look stupid.
Yeah. That makes sense then, I guess.
Yeah, so like under those bed sides, the whole quote unquote bed of my truck is 2-inch DOM.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of
a
little heavy.
Kind of a cage, but not really.
Yeah, you just have the back hoop, right? And the couple kickers and stuff.
Yeah, so it's got basically a B pillar with. It doesn't have a full X in it, but like the top half got triangles in it, so it's kind of strong.
Yeah.
And then the whole floor is the bed. The floor. I can't speak. What is wrong with me? The bed floor is also 2-inch. There's an X brace in the back on the floor, and then some other tubes here and there.
Mm-hmm.
But under the top of the bed sides, it's tube that goes all the way to the 2 back corners. The truck is doved in the rear, so I don't smash the bed sides when I'm wheeling it on whatever. There was a lot of work, and I did all that in my driveway. Everything except the engine swap was done in my driveway, for the most part.
You could probably do the engine swap in the driveway too.
Yeah. Well, at the time, my dad still had his shop, so
Mm,
I was able to do it there. Made it a little easier, but
yeah.
still pretty much just working on the ground, so it's not that.
Yeah. What do you do for do you have a fuel cell? What kind of fuel cell and how much fuel and all that stuff?
So I have a 33-gallon like OJ Bronco fuel tank in the bed of the truck.
Okay.
With the Warborough 255 that just screams, and it's right behind the back of the cab. I'm so
same one
used
you
to it, I
had,
don't
Luke?
hear it anymore.
No, I had a Jegs equivalent that was not happy.
That thing was so loud. It was almost unbearable.
It was unbearable. That's why I put a Jegs 180 series in it, and it's now very not noticeable. You have to actually like listen for the fuel pump. I don't know how to feel about my life anymore.
I don't mind the sound of a fuel pump going, but that one was just it was like an alarm, you know, if like you had a door open and it was just like the whole
Yeah,
time.
you could.
That's what it
Well,
was.
it was right in the
It was
the
below the cab, but yeah.
that XJ chassis just wasn't doing you any favors though, because there's holes in it, and then that sound comes in and it just reverberates. I feel like if there was any sort of insulation in anything, it might help it. Because, I mean, I don't know. The J20s is pretty loud. My pump is pretty loud, and I don't know. I used to notice it, and now I don't. I don't know if you noticed it, Cody, when you were in it, but
No, only the
yeah,
exhaust.
it's not that bad. Yeah, the exhaust. Well, that's been fixed now. It was getting louder
Oh,
for
good shit.
you know, the donut gaskets blowing out issue, which I still don't 100% know. I have an idea on why it happened, but
The backfires probably, if I had to guess.
no.
No?
I think it's just the whole exhaust is kind of like rocking, like it kind of wiggles, and it just fucks that gasket up slowly, and it dies. So,
I mean,
I'm
that'll
just
do
gonna
it.
make sure it's tight, and keep on top of it,
Graham,
and maybe
gonna
put
be
the
the
rest of the
first.
exhaust on it.
You're gonna end up putting fucking V bands on it at this rate.
I already have V bands on it.
Yeah. I was gonna say he bought some.
So I can take it apart easier. I can take that shit apart in the O'Reilly's parking lot.
But explain
new
why
donut
you did,
gaskets in.
though.
Wait, why would you have to take it apart?
To put the new donut gaskets in.
Oh yeah, forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah, so you could take it.
Yeah.
I don't have much exhaust. I know this is a tangent, but I only have like that downpipe, Y pipe thing that I custom booger welded together to like a foot of tube, a muffler, and then I was too excited to finish the rest of the exhaust, so I've just left it like that. And there is a support that holds it up, but I don't have any place to put it to support it in the very back with the amount of tube that I have on it, so it kind of just floats there, which isn't. It definitely isn't ideal for donut gaskets, but
not ideal.
No, but they lasted like 2 weeks, so and they're like $14 for a set of them. So, and I can it's 5 bolts. I can change it in a heartbeat now. So yeah, I just put a V band right where the muffler is, and now I can disconnect the Y pipe from the 3 feet of muffler pipe maybe, and take that down. At least drop it. Put the new gaskets in. Tighten her back up because it's all fresh. Like it's all brand new shit. It's easy. It's not rusty or anything. So at least it's easy to work on.
That's good.
Yeah,
that's good. My J20 still has the stock Y pipe in it. Well, what's left of it. When I did the engine swap, I had no money. I'm like, I'm putting an LS in and then using these 50-year-old exhaust parts that are not rotted out for some reason.
Wow.
And yeah, so it's still like that. I need to redo it, but that's not priority. It's not falling out yet.
Yeah, I mean the only reason I went out when I did mine, I had those stupid headers on it, and 360s just hate headers. They just don't seal. And as soon as I realized it wasn't going to fit with the hydraulic clutch on the NV4500, like it ran right into it. There was no amount of hammering or beating. I tried to see if it could maybe make it work with those, but even with like hammering on it, it was just so close. It wasn't. I was just gonna cook the slave cylinder. So I just bought 70s manifolds because they're the not. I think is it the dog leg versus the log driver side one? I think that's what it is. The dog leg flows better, so I was like, well, it'll flow okay. Like, give it a fighting chance at making more than 100 horsepower.
I thought it was the fastest thing you've ever driven.
It is, and now that I fixed the O2 sensors reading air and giving it too much fuel and not running right, like it was back to what I remember. Like Cody, when you and me were driving in, like after we had that podcast, and I was like listen, like let me actually open it up, and it didn't do anything. Yeah, it didn't do what I remembered it doing when I like first drove it. So when I put that new shit in, I was in the Chicopee O'Reilly's, and
Can we talk about that really quick though?
What? Yes.
Because he texts me and he's like, I'm picking you up at 5:30. We're going to Marvell's. I'm like, all right, fuck it, whatever, sounds good. Because I was just planning on having a chill day, and then he picks me up. We hop in the truck. And he stomps on it, and then there's just just a little bit of silence between us, right? Like, cause he knew I was judging, but he knew that it wasn't doing that good. He just looks over, he goes, "All right," so like, he doesn't throw you in the seat.
No.
But he is right. It did have a really bad exhaust leak. So like,
it was way worse than I thought, and I was expecting it to kind of like the O2 to read a little shittier, but it wasn't. It was still. Because even with that running as shitty as it was, it's still better than those stupid headers that were on it. Those things just didn't seal. They didn't work. Like, this at least, even though it was all messed up, was still, like, it was within tolerable levels for the computer to actually compensate for it. But, no, I fixed it, and it's a lot better now. But I'm sure the new ones are dying as well, so it'll just get worse, and then I'll fix it again, and then it'll be good again. So, and then maybe someday I'll actually figure out why it's doing that and fix it properly. But
I think actually you should fix it. Swap it eventually.
Yeah, I'm with this guy.
I don't. That 360 is fucking.
It's
fine.
It's the fastest thing he's ever driven. So he doesn't want to touch it.
You should drive mine then.
So I don't know. Like, I do give it props. Like, putting the manual into it changed that truck completely. Like, and you put in a lot of work into it, but still, like, it made that truck a completely different truck, and it is healthy. It runs really well. I mean, I don't think there's any reason to swap out the 360.
No.
Is it fast? No. Is it cool? Fuck yeah. I will say that.
Yeah, but like a 6-liter with a truck Norris, and that truck would probably get Graham killed because it's so fucking quick.
Oh, I believe it. Like, I have a 6-liter in my
suspension that's in it is already gonna kill me. It's so bad.
Also, if you're ever in a situation where Graham wants to go into your lane and you don't let him in, he will pass you on a rotary doing about 45, and I'm literally holding on, just like, it was fun, but like,
this dude in a Honda Ridgeline. I had some space to merge, but I was trying. We're gonna go right into it because you brought it up. I was trying to merge, put my blinker on. I waited because the thing's a fishbowl. You can see, and they could see you. Like, he knew I was merging, and I looked out, like I knew he was there. I wasn't gonna be an asshole and like cut him off. This dude speeds up, doesn't let me in, so I have to slow down and get behind him, and he gets in the inner lane on the rotary. So we're on the outer lane, and I just floor it in second, and it doesn't go that fast in second, but it makes a lot of noise, especially when it's the exhaust is rapidly falling apart.
So it sounds like a shit box too.
Oh no, it sounded good at that point.
It
sounded worse after we went to Richie's, but it sounded awful once we got to Richie's. But at this point, we weren't there yet. And yeah, it just sounded really good, sounded really loud. really obnoxious, and I skirted on around him and passed him. And he passed me right as we took our exit when we were down further from the rotary, but besides the point. I made my point.
Yeah, it was fun, especially because like I know in my truck when I go around that rotary, if you're on the inside lane, there's like this bump that like kicks, it like bounces the rear suspension just right that it kicks the rear out. I'm just like, oh, this is gonna get fucking interesting if that happens in this truck. I'm like, here we go. Like, I'm just on for the fucking ride at this point. Good times.
And
good
that's with
times,
the
though.
sway bar too. It still feels so bad. I haven't pulled the sway bar out of it. I don't know what it would feel like
The
without that
truck
thing.
yours has a sway bar in it.
Uh-huh. It
Oh,
probably
yeah,
doesn't
throw
need it. It's
that out.
leaves, but
Dude, throw it out.
He doesn't
Mine
wheel
never
it,
had
so why
one.
not?
Mine didn't
Right?
come with. Well, mine didn't have one stock.
yeah, I don't know. This thing has one. I don't know what it does, but it's there, and I didn't take it off because I don't know. Didn't seem like I needed to. I felt like
Yep.
I'd change one less thing from like the equation of things that I'm gonna do to the thing that makes it drive poorly, and it didn't. So far, it's been good. We haven't actually made it drive poorly yet, so maybe I'll do that, and it'll fix it for me.
And Graham also wants to still plow with this truck. So just, that's the level
No, that's
of
just more like a fuck you. Like I want to keep that thing as an option. Like I want to be able to put it
Ugh.
on. Am I actually gonna plow
Ugh.
with it? No.
I fucking hope not. You're gonna ruin that truck.
It was a plow truck for God knows how long. It'll survive a little more.
Yeah, and so was mine, but it doesn't make me happy that it was. Like just just from the
I
years
don't
of
care.
plowing,
Metal's
I know
metal.
the
If
amount
it
of
gets
abuse.
fucked up, I'll cut it out.
Brother, hit a fucking manhole cover at 30 miles an hour while plowing.
I'm
and
not
you'll
planning to
then-
plow at 30 miles an hour with the thing.
I'm just saying,
it's
like
plow your
doing-
driveway once a year sort of thing.
That is fair. Okay, that is fair. But the amount of abuse that goes into those fucking trucks when you hit a manhole that fast, it hurts. It hurts you on the inside of the truck. Not to
The
mention
thing
what it does
hurts
to the
me if I
truck.
go over a pothole without a plow.
Yeah.
The seats, I'm like in the springs on the seat. I keep getting lower. I'm like, my ass is against the fucking metal frame on the side, I think now. It's awful. I gotta fix that. Or change the seat, change the bench.
And it sucks too because I don't think there's any companies that does like a proper like nice bench seat. Like they do like the rear bench, but like a rear bench isn't gonna work for the front because then you can't really have like a passenger and a driver's side. You just like the bolsters on it will just kick you guys together.
Yeah.
It just
I
wouldn't
don't know.
work.
I do like the fact that we can pack 3 people in. That's come in handy.
It does.
More than I expected it to. Like I wouldn't want to get rid of that and be like, "Yep, this is my coupe now." No. Load on up. We got a job to do. Home Depot parking lot.
Jesus
And hey,
Christ, man.
Well, you could dump out everybody.
You could. The dumping is
The
such an odd thing.
It pushes people over the edge at a gas station though. I'm sure Greg, you've experienced this. Like no vehicle have I owned has anybody come up to me at a gas station. I have people crawling out of the woodwork. Even when I was changing the exhaust at O'Reilly's, I was like, there was some dude with an intercom in like a Ford Explorer or something, like one of the little SUVs. He like intercom, nice truck, like whatever. Like it was just people honking and doing things. I was like,
The old lady at Cumbies
it was
yelling at
ridiculous.
you.
It was
Yeah.
ridiculous.
The old lady at Cumbies yelling.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I-
that's
I-
what she did. Sorry,
I do get a lot of people coming up to me at gas stations and stuff.
like
And usually they're like, "Oh, is that a Comanche?" And I'm like, "Oh, no, it's not."
Graham got hit with is that a power wagon?
yeah.
That's good. I've gotten.
But I was like-
is that a Ford? Like I'm like, no.
Yeah, nobody has any clue.
Like, ugh.
It's
I
wild.
mean,
But
I have no tailgate now, so it doesn't say giant.
Yeah,
Jeep
true.
across it. So no one really
Oh.
knows.
that's a good point.
I
I mean,
But I have a Wagoneer door, so like I don't know, maybe that, with the wood grates.
sorta. Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe
People don't.
people kind of recognize it, but usually people just look at me like, "What is that thing?"
Why is that on the
flying
road?
down the road?
Yeah.
No, at the dump bed, because I have to lift the dump bed to fill it with gas. It's the only way to fill it. So people will be looking at it at the gas station because it's fucking yellow and it's weird. And then you put the dump bed up, and it just blows people's minds. They're like, "What the fuck is this thing?" And it like, I literally the other day was filling it up, and this kid was in his truck, and I saw his like head like twitch when I used the dump bed, and he gets out, and we had a conversation at the pump. And I was like, "Yep, it's a Jeep. This is the not the Comanche, the bigger truck they made in the 70s and 80s, and."
Yeah, it's like a oversized Comanche. It's pretty cool. It's a unibody still.
No, it's not. It might as well be.
Full size unibody truck.
Ooh. Bad news. Bad news.
I just like
Oh, man.
throwing the random bullshit in there to get Grandma wound up. That's part of the reason I bang on about the Mickey Thompsons.
Uh-huh. Yeah, you do get me wound up with that.
It works like a charm every time, just like your lovely unibody J20. Speaking of, when are you going to put one of them fancy new grills on there? I think they call it, what, the 21 slot grill or the 23 slot grill?
I think
Those
it's already
things look cool
got
as fuck.
the 20. It's like not the 70s ones are. I like the Razors the most. I think they look the best.
That's
But
the
I
one I'm
can't-
talking about. Then.
I can't do that on mine. It would be wrong.
That's the one
Full
I have.
Yeah, full size Jeep people would be not happy, or they would not be happy. But it would be like, it doesn't have the brow
Sacrilege.
above the windshield, so it can't have
Oh
that
yeah.
because it's just wrong. I think the grill I have is pretty nice, so just
but,
wouldn't be
like,
right.
There's so many people that take any full size Jeep and put a Rhino grill on it.
Yeah, and that's stupid.
Personally, if anyone is listening that has a full size Jeep, don't get mad. I hate the Rhino grill.
I think it's overdone.
I don't know which one. Is that like the Gladiator style one or whatever?
Yes.
Yeah, it's the early, like, really narrow.
Yeah,
It
I know
covers
what
like
you're
the
saying.
center. I just don't think they look good. That's just my.
I think it's
opinion.
unique. I don't think it's fitting for a lot of the FSJ trucks. I think like you can do it and it can look pretty decent, but I wouldn't put one on mine because I could. Like you could put it on, but it wouldn't be right.
Yeah.
Like, if it didn't come with it, or I don't know, just not right. I think the Razors look better all day than a Rhino.
I mean, that's like people putting split bumpers on 71 Camaros. That's people putting like Judge wings on the fucking GTOs. I mean, it's just one of those things that like people like a style, and even though it didn't come with it, like they'll swap it on just cause. Like,
Yeah, well,
I don't
it's
know.
like putting angry eye grills on your JK to a lesser extent, but still.
no, it's more like putting a sticker where the Rubicon sticker goes on a just
I
stock
guess.
JK. That's at least my thought. Like,
Which ones actually came with the Rhino? Was that like the 60s ones? I don't even know.
Yeah, forget what year they went to. They got rid of those. Not Yeah, I don't know. No idea what year it was, but yeah, definitely 60s up until maybe almost 70.
What future plans do you have for your truck? Anything new and exciting?
Put a legitimate, like, actual radio in it, because the Bluetooth speaker ain't cutting it.
Don't say that about my Bluetooth speaker. It's great.
Well, no,
it'll
like,
hear
when
you
wheeling,
and disconnect.
When I'm wheeling, it's fine, but when I'm going down the highway at 75 miles an hour, it's hard to hear.
you know what somebody needs to come up with that I think would be absolutely fucking insane and would make them a ton of money is a chase bar stereo or like speaker fucking combo. I feel like that would just make a fucking killing. Why don't they have that? Just saying, somebody can make a lot of money if they figured out how to do it. Be fucking
I don't
sick.
know that I would want one.
Why not? Because you could just fucking mount it in the back off of like your fucking, the supports in the roof of your shit box, or like the buggy guys who do that. I mean, why not?
I don't know.
Now it wouldn't work necessarily in this circumstance for Greg and his rig because he'd have to make the decision of inside or outside. But still, for shitbox Cherokee people, like it could work. It could work pretty well too.
I just like my $300 fucking Razer soundbar. It's loud enough that you can hear it when you're on rev limiter, so that's all I really care about. My Jeep doesn't even hit rev limiter anymore, so it's great.
I don't know, just a weird thought that I think could be lucrative for somebody who's cool and smart.
I'm impressed my stupid radio still works in my J20. It was the one that came with it when I bought it. Speakers are the same, and they just do the thing.
They're
Passwords
there.
1, 2, 3.
Did you say speakers like plural speakers? Like
Yeah,
two?
it's got 2 of them. I think they both work. It's hard
Oh.
to tell. I can't really hear it
Yeah,
very well.
mine has a single one in the center of the dash. And
Oh,
the
you got.
radio does not
I
work.
forgot.
It does not. It worked when I got it. It does not work anymore.
Yeah, this is the one on top of the dash. Collins is the same way.
It's right in the
rough.
center of the dash, under the
Yep.
dash. It's got little holes in the top of the dash for it. Yeah, no, it don't work.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I wanna do a radio. I might chop the dash up and like put a CarPlay in it, so I have GPS and stuff.
Hmm.
'Cause I
They
drive the
make
truck a
little.
lot.
I just put one. It was like $100 off Amazon. It was this like. It seemed kind of sketchy, and I kind of just took a chance on it. I wasn't sure how long it was gonna work or if it was gonna like actually be okay, but it was a single DIN CarPlay, and it fits the space pretty well. It goes past the single DIN obviously because that's not enough usable space for a CarPlay, but
Yeah.
it looks good. It works good. The wireless connection with the phone is pretty good. It does like some weird shit every once in a while, but usually you just disconnect and reconnect. It's all good, and it's been really solid. I'd honestly, if I didn't beat the shit out of the Cherokee, I'd maybe put one in that. But the J20, I could definitely see. I don't know what your like radio bezel as far as like placement is on it, but I can shoot you the link or shoot you a
your
picture.
dash is your dash different than mine, right? Because
I think it is.
Square style where it's like all
Yeah.
plastic and stuff.
I don't know how the radios in those 70s ones
Yeah.
are.
Mine's like in the my stock radio is like in the center of my dash, and it's like the 2 knobs and like the little centerpiece.
Oh, you have one of those like old school
Oh yeah.
Fucking
shitty
ham
things.
radio, analog, have an ass type radio.
It's like old timer. Turn it to.
I like how to take the thing apart, like fix it internally, because like the tuning knob stopped working. And I'm like, oh, like let me fix this. And I did that years ago. It probably needs to get done again, but I don't care enough. The Bluetooth speaker takes care of that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess in your
But-
case, this is before DINs were a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how you make that.
What else?
Oh, I'm looking at a picture of it now. Yeah, I don't know if you could fit that there.
Yeah, I could chop it up. I'm gonna chop up that dash a little bit. I kind of feel bad about doing it, but I don't.
Meh.
My glove box doesn't exist anymore. There's nothing behind there, so
You could
I
always
might
get
do
one
like
of those.
half.
Like, what do they have? They make like the classic radio form
Yes.
factor things that do Bluetooth. Those are decent.
Yeah,
They're kind of a pain
my
in the
friend,
ass. to,
my friend has
make
one
sure
in his
that-
Mustang. It works pretty good.
Yeah.
Definitely does better than the
Or-
Bluetooth speaker he used to have in that.
Do you have a bed sheet still?
No, I have buckets now.
Perfect. So there's a gap between you and the passenger seat. You can just go to Costco, grab one of them tower speakers, just fucking drill through the bottom, like through the bottom of the floor up into the speaker, so it's solid mounted, and boom. Now you got a kick-ass stereo for like $150. Solid.
I wish I could do that. I have a Tuffy center console between the seats now.
Take it out. You don't need it. You need entertainment. Come on, take it out.
The entertainment's the LS under the hood.
That's a great point. That's a
Yeah.
really good point.
How is it to wheel that thing? I imagine that it's gotta like have some get up and go.
It does, but I don't. I've only wheeled it. I've really only been wheeling it for the past year, and it's only been not even a handful of times. So I'm still kind of getting used to it. I was so used to my YJ with like 97-inch wheelbase, and now I'm at 126 with this truck. So
Damn.
it's a it's a little bit of a learning curve. This last, when I was at Web Willers Ball, it I felt a lot more comfortable in the truck than I did previously.
It was
Um,
definitely an attention grabber. I'll say that. Caught my attention real
Yeah,
fucking quick at the least.
Yeah.
it's definitely different.
Yeah, you just don't see you see any of them like
Yes.
wheeling in New England or like many on the East Coast at all. I think there's like I don't know anyone like south of New York, but I know there are a couple people who have pretty cool ones, but not a lot.
Yeah.
You probably count on two hands the amount of people who are actually beating the crap out of the things.
So
Yeah, there's
I
re-
heard it
really not
run.
many. Yes.
I heard it run, right? And I'm like, that's Sam, like Flying Iron Sam. What the fuck is Sam doing out here? So I go wandering over, and it's Graham's buddy Greg. That is not Sam. Okay, cool. This is another LS fucking absolute banger of a Bob J truck. This is cool.
Yeah, I'll say mine's not as cool as his. Obviously, I'm still on leaf springs because
His
Eh,
is
I don't
wild.
want
The
to do
body
I don't
armor
want
on
to
that
do
thing
anything, but like, yeah,
is
that Sam's
insane.
truck, it's just so cool.
Yeah.
Super nice dude too.
Yeah, that was a fun one. It was fun talking with him.
Yeah, he's very smart. I just think that it's cool, and I like the beadlock setup with the Maxis. It just kind of like, it's a whole ass vibe.
Yeah.
I'm kind of sad I didn't get to wheel with you at all, but the way she goes,
Yeah.
seemed like
Yeah, you guys were at
and
Rock
our
Creek
boy
though.
were. Oh fuck
We don't-
that!
I knew
Yeah,
I knew I'd get you.
I
with
just
that.
I just put the truck in double low and let it idle. Like everyone was going so much faster, and I'm just like, yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna kind of steer a little bit and no throttle input, just like put along.
Yeah.
No,
In leaf springs too. Oh God.
yeah, it's I don't know. It's kind of like a, what do you say? That's just how I am. Everything I own has leaf springs on it.
So poor is more than just a lifestyle at that point. It's a
He's
it's a damn
choosing.
choice.
Yeah, he's choosing to be
He's
here now.
choosing poor.
I just fuck. God damn it.
No, I get it though. If it works though, like don't fucking. There's no need to fix it. Like if you're happy with the way that the thing runs down trail or goes down the road, then fuck it. Like why switch it up?
Yeah.
The thing, it goes down the road so good. One finger on the wheel, like.
Yep.
I've put
Yeah, and I know
put
you were
15,000
talking.
miles on it in last year.
Wow.
Yeah, just drove this, and that the only reason I know is because I put a Holly Pro Dash in it, and now I have an odometer that works. And before last year, I don't know how many miles I've put on it, and it's been a little over 6 years since I swapped the LS into it.
Damn. So yeah, it's been driving a while.
Yeah, and
Did you just not have gauges
to get right
for a while?
I had, when I did the LS, I didn't have a speedometer. I had everything else though.
Oh, okay. I mean, I barely have a speedometer.
Yeah, I couldn't. It was going to cost me way too much money to figure out how to even just get the 205 to work with the factory Jeep.
Is it really that different? I figured because it's mechanical to mechanical, like you kind of just jam that thing in there, call it a day. Is it different?
Yes, I guess, because it's a Ford setup versus like if it was like a GM. If it was a GM transfer case, then I think it's similar to the Jeep, to the factory Jeep style one that was in that truck. But yeah, just trying to figure out going from the Ford to the Jeep. I could have done like Dakota Digital, like electronic, and then have
it's like $300 though.
Yeah, and then have a motor spin the speedo that's in it. Just like I'm like, no, like I'm good. I don't need to know how fast I'm going. It's a manual. Like I just figure out gear ratio versus RPM, and I kind of know how fast I'm going.
Yeah,
just kind of pitter patter around.
That was what happened with the Jeep. I put it was like $100 GPS speedo when I was still driving it on the road, and it worked pretty good. It's a pain in the ass though because it resets, and the fucking factory XJ computer. I've talked about this before for sure.
Long time ago now, though.
Yeah, if your computer reads that you're going over like 110 or 115, it cuts fuel, and that thing will sweep. Like it'll do a gauge sweep while it's running, like just randomly if it disconnects and has to reconnect, and then it'll tell the computer it's going over 115, and it will cut fuel, and that shit on the highway is obnoxious. So I have a switch to turn it on and off. It's for fun now. It's like, oh, well, let's see how fast I'm going. But even when I turned it on, we were at Roush because I was just messing with it. And it cut fuel a couple times when I was just like driving on the greens. Fucking bullshit. But that's a computer issue. That's not a gauge issue. So
the only gauges that work at this point in my rig are the oil pressure as a suggestion. I don't think it actually is even remotely accurate because sometimes it'll be at 0 and sometimes it'll be at like the normal operating range.
Well, the reason that happens, you know why that happens, right? If you take your oil pressure sensor out and get a pipe cleaner and clean that shit, it'll probably read right.
That's the same thing that happened with mine. Yeah,
I think it needs a sensor too, because the sensor that's on there is not happy. Or it could be a wiring problem as well, because that wiring harness has been on 5 different 4.0s at this point. So all of the above is possible.
The new wiring harness that you just got done?
I got a factory harness cut down. That's all. It's my old factory harness has been cut down. The new sections of harness are just the connections to the ECM to run it. Then, yeah, that's it. Tachometer works. Everything else is just kind of... Oh, volt gauge sometimes works, sometimes doesn't. Like, if you tap it, it'll come back on.
Boy.
She's... Yeah, my chassis is great. I love it.
I didn't hear you. Does your temp gauge work?
Yeah, my temp gauge kind of works. It said I wasn't overheating all weekend. So that's cool.
Well, if you blew your head gasket, it might have been overheating a little bit.
It said I was overheating coming out of there, but that was for like a split second.
Yeah.
I don't trust anything on there. At some point in time, it just all needs to go, and the 4-liter needs to go, and yeah. But we've already discussed this at length every episode.
You should. I think you should just swap in a YJ 4-cylinder in there. A little 2.5-liter would be perfect.
Honestly, that would be fucking hilarious. It would never break another mile marker.
It might. It might.
Totally fine.
The rate those things were popping. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like making popcorn.
Yeah.
My Jeep's terrible.
What was that, like $500 worth of hubs?
Yeah.
Could have had earphones by then.
And then I put slugs in it and blew the head gasket out of it. So fuck me sideways.
They even make hubs, Yukon hubs for the 04 yet?
They made, yeah, it's 99 to 04 is the same as all the earlier 60 shit.
Oh, that's right. It's only the 05 Plus that they're still working on.
Yeah, if
19 years of development.
To be honest,
the best hubs in the world.
At some point in time, it's just if I don't end up ripping the axle out and putting an 05 Plus with flanges in, it's just going to get a set of solid drive flanges because I like the logo.
Because you like the logo?
Yeah,
that's the reasoning.
They're the same price as every other slug. It's just a slug, and I like the logo, so I'm going to buy the one that I like the logo on.
I mean, I guess that's a valid fucking reason.
They're all kind of the same, right?
It's like Graham buying a fucking IPA. He's just like, I don't know, this one's pretty. I'll take this one.
It's got a cool sticker on it.
Well, I mean, like, if we're being honest, right? If we're talking about a slug, they're all made out of 4340 chromoly. They're all
You're excused.
Die quieter, bitch.
They're all 35 spline inner with the same outer. And if it's between $220 and $250, I'm gonna pay the $225 for the logo I like. I don't see any
Okay.
problem with the reasoning there.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. No, for sure.
The Revolution stuff has a really nice logo too, but like they want $245 and the solid ones are red. So that's cool.
That doesn't make any sense. You like blue.
I know, but they have the like solid logo cut into them, so it's cool.
Okay.
All right. All right.
This is the special coming out. But no, like just unfuck it and go, I guess. One day I'll eventually be LS cool, but you know, I'm not going to be making it up to humble pie, so that means Tim Gibson can't drop one in my truck bed and have me owe him money.
Lame.
I
I get it though. I get it.
Being sick last week, I got sent home one day and had to stay home the next day because I was running such a high fever, and they have a policy of like 24 hours without the fever. Well, that wasn't going to happen and have me clock in the next morning, and I was still sick as fuck anyway, so I burned through 2 vacation days last week being sick, and I don't have enough vacation time with other commitments to be able to actually, you know, make it happen. It sucks. I'm really pissed that that's where my vacation time went, because I would have much rather came up and saw everyone and went to Humble Pie, but you know, shit happens.
brother. Yeah, shit happens.
I'm still gonna get a Yard Civic LS at some point, and I'm hoping, because I think he was looking for a Pathfinder, so I'm still looking for one of those too. I might come up around Christmas if I can get the time off then, because I have scheduled days off. So,
Are you trying to trade him a Pathfinder for an LS? Or what is the correlation of you looking for a Pathfinder and him as well?
Well, he wants a Pathfinder, and I have to go and do a sweep of LSs in New England. So if I'm going to be down south, I might as well bring a Southern Pathfinder up to New England, and you know,
I see what you're saying. I got you.
rob every LS that I possibly can. Come back with like 3 of them on a trailer, so maybe I'll be able to make it through more than 2 years of wheeling.
So now,
Or
was
just
this your
sell
first time at Roush, Greg?
No, I've been going to Roush
No?
since about 2012.
So then, why was this the first time that we saw you there for that weekend? Huh?
I guess we have. No, I think I was there 2 years ago. Labor Day weekend with my YJ.
Oh, really? Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah, I just kind of fly under the radar in that because like it's just a red YJ.
Just a
It's
YJ.
nothing fancy.
I was gonna say, because if it was a J Chug, I'm sure Colin and Graham would have been shitting and puking and pissing themselves all at the same time. If he's
I do remember seeing Colin there that weekend.
Was that the year that he was getting pushed out by Mike in the? No, Mike was getting pushed out by the YJ, wasn't it? I'm trying to think what year that was.
Yeah, that was maybe.
I don't fucking know at this point. They're all
I
blending
have
together.
The video. I don't know.
Yeah, that was Web Wheelers Ball 22 or Web Wheelers Ball 3 in 22.
Feels
like so that would have been that year. That was a fun year.
That was a really good year.
I don't remember. Oh no, that was the year I was dying. That was not a fun time. What do you mean? Fuck you guys. I was dying.
Cody, I can't force you to drink water.
I can't force myself either, I guess.
Yeah, well, you gotta stay on top of it.
No, it's more than that. It's fine. Don't worry about it. We talk about it enough. We don't need to go devolving into the
Cody
water
died.
conversation again.
I died last year too, last year as well. So don't feel too bad.
So now a man that's on two different types of tires. Now I get to ask my tire question to somebody who's at least driven a few different types of tires. What is the best off-road tire? Well, hold on. Best fucking DOT off-road tire, and what is the worst DOT off-road tire?
Oh, I don't. I mean, they're all rubber.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it
Good
comes down.
observation.
I mean,
That's good.
someone,
That's good.
someone like I don't really see. I mean, I had. Let's see. I had 38-inch SXs on my YJ. And they were horrible on the road. Were okay to wheel with.
No.
But I think
I'm talking off-road use only, not
off-road
road.
only.
Yeah. Because like if I just go, oh, what's the best tire? Everybody's gonna say it's sticky, right? So I'm talking specifically for the people that may drive their shit on the road and off-road. Like, what would you say is the best, and what would you say is the worst?
It like in my experience with the tires I've been around. Worst tire for the road is probably an SX.
Off-road, you dumb motherfucker. No road use, motherfucker. Off-road.
Sorry, my brain.
Well, if you're going limited to off-road,
my brain
why
is
aren't we
fried.
Yeah, but also why
not DOT off-road?
Correct. Yes.
Probably the Mickeys that are on my.
Is the best
that I have. My personal
experience
with.
Okay, that's a great answer. And what would you say is the worst?
I can't really talk for a tire that I haven't ran on my own vehicle.
No, that's totally understandable. And what would you say is the worst that you've used for off-road use?
I've never really. I can't really say that any of them are like bad per se. I want to say those 38 SXs.
All right. I mean, hey, that's a good answer.
I've ran, which is obviously they're not stickies, but yeah, they just and they were like cut too. They weren't, stock. They were used when I had them. They worked good because they were big.
I feel like they're also a tire that kind of needs a little bit of horse ponies, and putting them on a YJ with a 4-cylinder, they're not going to have the best shot at having a happy life.
No.
But Cody,
they're not.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Are you analyzing my question, Luke?
I am.
Okay.
So I like your question, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if we're gonna be talking about the worst and best off-road, I feel like at some point in time we should be starting to include some stickies in there.
No, because I feel like that's just like a sticky tire is a sticky fucking tire. It's gonna do the sticky tire thing, right? Where not every fucking off-road tire that is like, because I'm thinking of more when I ask the question, it's for the guy who's sitting at home with an XJ on 31s that wants to bump up to 35s, or he's building a fucking 1-ton XJ, wants to go to 40s, but doesn't really know the best avenue to go with the best tire for the price. But this is somebody who's not just going and buying a set of stickies. So there's so many different options
people
out
are a
there.
whole nother breed. They're
correct.
Everybody gets caught in their brands.
And when was the last time, Greg, that you ran a set of stickies?
Never.
Thank you. Now, why would I ask a man who's never ran stickies his opinion on stickies? That wouldn't make sense to me.
I mean, I get that. I'm just saying, like, little bit of in the future maybe broadening, but
well, yeah,
this is not a conversation to have on the podcast. If we're critiquing how we ask questions,
no, we're doing it live.
I hear what you're saying.
I'm just shooting this shit. I'm not like being over. I'm not trying to be a dick about it. I'm just curious.
I hear what you're saying. That's where my mindset is when I'm asking the question. It's not necessarily for like for humble pie, so that way now Sawinski has all the fucking he has the tally marks, right? Like, I don't know why I called Bob by his last name, but it's fine. Yeah, I'm asking for the actual listeners who are not necessarily bumping to a set of stickies. That's all. Yeah,
Mm.
but I'm down to, especially if we know somebody's ran a different few sets of stickies. I think it's a very valuable question that I could definitely start considering to ask, but
Yeah.
I don't think it's valid right now. That's all.
And this was probably not the perfect time to ask it, but hey, so on that note, since you've been to 2 web wheelers, what's your favorite trail at Roush?
Ooh, good question.
Oh, good question. Favorite
We'll
trail,
be
like my
judging.
go to. I probably could do every time there.
I swear to God, if you say Rock
Almost.
Creek.
Oh no, no. Actually, the first time I actually ever did Rock Creek was this web wheelers ball. I've never really driven down it.
Okay,
You're not
And
missing
honestly,
much.
not my favorite trail.
Especially
I
the
couldn't
exit
tell if you were
too.
going to go JK on us or not, so I had to just, make sure.
Favorite trail. What trail do I always run when I go there? What's my go-to? I do like Cemetery.
Cemetery's a good fucking trail.
I do like that. I like the exit. I like that rock, that big rock in the center.
Yep.
I think I've only made, and it always changes every time I'm there, which is the best part about it.
Bro, you want to talk about changes? Can we talk about what happened to Shoot the Moon? That shit makes me
Yeah.
sad as fuck.
Yeah, I was down there. I did not attempt it. Sorry, but
No, you're fine. But Shoot the Moon, I don't know if everyone has seen yet. I think it's Rock Jeep TJ's the dude's Instagram handle. He posted a video. All of the rocks that used to be on the left side, like where I've kind of flopped my shit on, have fallen down into the center. They are no longer on the left side. So it's now just kind of like a pivot simulator. Makes me very sad.
yeah, wrong line through there. You're on your side.
Yes. Yes,
Yeah,
indeed.
I was down there with Cam and a couple of the guys we were with, and Cam just kind of floated up the right side of it. You guys probably saw a video of that. And then there were 2 other guys I was with that went for that center line, and both of them just dropped the passenger side into that hole and just on their side, pinched out.
I did that. Yeah, it was good. I drove out of mine, but yeah.
We were on your
I
side.
I remember shit 10 years ago. I could drive up my YJ on 35s.
Yeah.
Now it's just nope. I wouldn't even think about it with the setup that I have.
That's fair.
That's bad. It's gotten really rough, and it's like the past. Ever since we've been going, the strategy for me has always been the same. But after looking at the video of what recently happened, where that rock's fucking gone, I don't know. You can't really go through the middle. It's just gonna move that big rock. It's gonna just fall down the hill. It's gonna go somewhere else.
Yeah, in like 10 more years, that'll be at the bottom of the quarry in that little side section.
Yeah, I don't know.
But
So it'll get easy, or it'll be harder. It's gonna be harder for a little bit till somebody bellies out on it and rolls the rock down the hill.
it's gonna probably take a drive shaft or 2 with it. But Shoot the Moon's always been one of my favorites there. Cemetery's good, O Trail's good. I like all the red ledges off on the northeast side. Those are always a ton of fun. So
I was gonna say, all right, it kind of feels like we're slowing down here. So let's.
I was gonna.
I like
Go ahead.
Jotters. Jotters is one of my favorites.
Jotters is a banger
Not
too.
because it's hard, but it's just like I don't know.
It's a good
Just
bebop.
a fun trail.
I was gonna ask about. I heard you guys say that y'all went to Richie's. What happened with that?
Ooh, it was a fun time. I mean, I don't know if Richie wants to go into it, but yeah, it's a good time. I mean, I think it was kind of like a little bit of an impromptu thing where Cody Made is planning on going out west with his Jeep, and
Just
think-
finished it.
yeah, like really recent, right? Within like
And
the
he
past
has
week.
he's never driven something with 2 lockers, from what he was saying. So
Yeah, he finished it not this past weekend, but the weekend before.
yeah.
Like that's when he actually started driving it around the yard. And then he immediately texted me, was like, "Can I come over to test it?"
Yeah, it was
So
fun. RJ blew up.
RJ blew up.
He blew a U joint.
He's had a creaky U joint since like I don't even know, well past the last time we went to Field and Forest, and it's been like that. And I keep telling him, I was just like, yeah, that's a U joint, it's gonna blow up, and he's like, nah, it's fine. And then first trail, almost instantly, bam.
like immediately.
Yep.
And the new one he put in, it still sounds like that same side is fucked up, but it was the older style U joint, so it's probably why. But that one didn't blow up, so
Well, I thought I had a big U joint shaft to give him, but I was wrong.
yeah, just the little one. Well, got him out. got him
Also, to
moving.
be fair, it's on RJ to be wheeling on a Dana 30 with 35s in a locker and not bringing a shaft is a crazy decision to me. Like, I don't know. I feel like that's just such a bad idea.
Don't you have like a whole pile of axle shafts too?
I did, and then throughout, the move from your shop to, bringing some down to Marvell's, and then some, like, I have 2 full sets, actually 3 full sets. One with a set of wheel bearings on it, and then 2 that are just loose. One has a bad U joint, one has new U joints on this, like, the naked shafts. Weird way to say that. Don't worry about it.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, just kind of took me off guard. But yeah, no, like yeah, he could definitely just ask and I'd give him a set. But like I don't troll Facebook anymore for them. I used to just like constantly be looking around on Facebook for extra sets of Data 30 shafts, but
I remember
No.
a couple of times, I think there was like 2 low pinion housings that just appeared at my shop for some reason, and we stripped them and then sent them to scrap.
yep, that is I what happened to those days? I miss those days when people would just be like, "Yo, I have this Dana 30," and I'm like, "I don't know, I got $80 for you," and then I would just yoink all the useful parts off of it and then just send it on its way. I miss those days.
Dude, the pile of Dana 30 shit under the shitty
Oh.
workbench was fucking massive. At one point, there was like 6 sets, not 6 sets, 6 knuckles, a pile of axle shafts just like assorted from everyone just throwing them someplace in the shop and me getting pissed and throwing them under there.
There was a lot of fucking caliper
Unit bearings.
caliper and caliper brackets there too.
And unit bearings. There was a
Yep.
fuck ton of unit bearings.
There was. I don't know if any of them are good though, if I'm being honest.
Well, they
Some
were
of
never
them were
supposed to
good,
be
and I
good.
took them.
They were just supposed to get you off of the trail and maybe home. Past that, I don't care.
I ran one of those unit bearings in the Cherokee for like 9-10 months.
Jesus, what? What? Oh my
So,
gosh.
Greg,
enough.
It fucking worked.
So, Greg, for reference, I had this little shithole hole in the wall shop. It was like a bay and a half deep. You could fit
was
2
perfect.
Cherokees in there. And so mine was
Mhm.
always in the back. And then there was just a rotating fleet of Dana 30 rigs that would come in and out and have work done to them. It was awesome.
It was
You
fantastic.
just have a pile of parts there for him.
Yeah, there was a pile of parts that was just chilling there, and the general like thing was if you took it, you had to replace it
Yep.
eventually. So like we just the
I
amount
remember
of
you were
data-
offering like a death wobble repair, and that's
Hey, it was not that bad of a fucking gig though, because it was like
No.
we would have people come in. I would do a Iron Man off road. No, not Iron Man. Iron Rock off road track bar. slap ZJ steering in it, and replace all the tie rods, and then 90% of the time that fixed all of the death wobble. And if it didn't, I would end up. It was always the fucking wallowed out track bar holes, so I'd just take a grade 8 washer, weld them to the inside and the outside, and slap the bolt back in it, and like I never had any complaints about that, and I did like 6 or 7 of them at that or after we were in there. I remember the weirdest one that we had was the cracked unibody, and I did not end up fixing that one.
No, that's a send it home. You got bigger problems.
Like cracked at the track bar mount.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
They
yeah,
ran it with loose bolts.
Might as well just scrap it.
Yeah, like we should do to my chassis. So back to the shit that went on at Richie's. I saw Cody's rig was out there. Richie, did you get the Comanche out there? Because it was running when it left Roush.
So I actually did a tune-up on it as everybody was showing up, and that took care of the issue of not being able to go over 2,000 RPMs. So I was very happy about that. And Cody kept trying to egg me on into doing stuff, and I kept going, no, I don't really feel like it. And then I did something and immediately spun the harmonic balancer off the motor.
Yeah, you did do that. I forgot about that.
And I don't know if anyone else caught it on video, but Preston got a video of it, and I keep watching it, and it's making me fucking piss myself laughing.
Why, does it just come flying out from under the rig and take off into the woods?
No, it's like
it's so
I'm getting frustrated because the open front end is cucking me, and I know it's cucking me. So I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to fucking give it the beans.
Mm-hmm.
And as I'm cresting the rock with the front tire, all of a sudden it sounded like a fucking machine gun going off in the cab.
It sounded like his fan was hitting his radiator. That's what I initially thought, but
I totally thought that I sent the radiator, the fan through the radiator, because
that thing
done
needs
that quite a
engine
few
mounts.
times. I've done that quite a few times in the Cherokee. I know that sound well. That's how it sounded.
Hey, there's a solution for that, and it's called engine mounts.
They're already en route to my house, so fuck you.
Okay, cool. When I finally ditch the Horribad 4-liter situation, I will just give you my Iron Man mounts with the plates. I don't give a fuck about them anymore.
That would probably be a good idea. I'm trying not to go through like 14 different radiators in this one.
Dude, they're great. They're just a pain in the fucking ass to install. You have to pull like the fucking alternator and the coil and all the stupid shit to get them to bolt up. And yeah, the motor's not going to move, which is great.
Yeah, well, you only have to worry about it once in theory.
Unless you blow it up.
It's
like
me.
I said, in theory.
It's me. I can't keep a fucking 4-liter alive for more than a couple of trips anyway.
I'm surprised, Luke, you don't just have your fucking motor instead of bolts, fucking just the quick release pins.
Not a bad idea, actually. You know, drag style shit. You know,
Quick release pins and some wing nuts on the bell housing.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. I mean, save a fuck ton of time.
I'm at a point now where I just don't even want to fucking talk about it. I've got nothing but contempt for that motor, and if I pull it apart and the fucking thing is in the process of blowing itself up, like there's a cracked piston or something like that, I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I might just throw it on the fucking trailer and rent a storage like spot to put my trailer for a little while and, you know, go fucking find a cheap LS and put a cheap LS with absolutely nothing done in no regard because I don't fucking care anymore. I fucking hate that 4-liter. It's never been fucking right since the 4-link swap, and I've never been able to keep a 4-liter in that Jeep in the entire lifespan of the fucking Jeep.
Yeah, I'm starting to think it's a little bit less of a 4-liter issue and more of a you issue. I don't know what's giving me that vibe, but that's kind of
No, see, the
what I'm
problem,
catching here.
we figured this out when the original 4-liter went. It's a traction issue. Because with the 35s, there was no problem. With the 40-inch Pats, there was no problem. As soon as he put, what was it? The Nitos on,
Yeah.
he blew it up that weekend.
Yeah.
Got a point.
So it's a
got a point.
traction problem. And see, you put stickies on it, so now there's even more traction. So go back to Pats. You'll be fine.
Fucking
I don't
Patty
know.
sucks. No, like, and I'm not trying to sit here and fucking bitch and moan about it, but the adult thing moving forward is to just, like, bite the bullet. Tim's right. If the head gasket and distributor don't have it running tip top, or if it blows up on me at the run that we're sponsoring at AOP for Halloween, that's it. It's just going to sit until I have all the parts for an LS, and then it'll get an LS, or it's getting parted out.
Yep.
So when are you lining up your next 4-liter for it?
I'm not.
Well,
At this point, I'm just not.
you've said the same thing like 7 motors ago.
It was only 8, and you're not wrong, but at this point in time, I don't know. I'm just
I'm pretty sure, Luke, if at one point in time you actually had an LS at the
I
Terryville
had a
Top.
5-liter. I've had an LS, and it's always just been what's the Freiburger saying? It doesn't have to be right; it just has to be running, or something like that.
Don't get it right, get it running.
Yeah. So that's always been my MO with it, and I've been trying really hard to just get it running and keep it running, and it keeps just fighting me. Like the electrical gremlins should not be there, right? Between ShopKit and myself, we've added multiple grounds. We've cleaned up all the OEM grounds. They are all very nicely tied in and, heavy duty. Like it's a bolt that's welded to the actual cage itself for the grounds. It's not like it's just the OEM self-tapered bullshit. It's all copper connectors that have been crimped on. A lot of time was taken to unfuck those. It starts up and runs almost instantly, which my Jeep's never done before. But it just, the 4-liters can't hang anymore. And to Graham's point also from before, I'm running out of power when I need power, and it's just not available. It needs 35 splines and more power, and honestly, the whole fucking rig's just trash because the front axle, the gear set's coming apart. It needs 35 splines. It needs a repower. At some fucking point, I have to deal with the transmission situation, or just put that bell housing adapter kit that Tim's running on and hope the AX15 behaves itself. So, if I'm doing that, might as well just go grab another fucking AX15 and get ass raped on that.
Why do you need another one?
Just because if I don't have one, it's gonna blow it up eventually, and
No, it'll be fine. And if it does, you can just take those things apart. It's like a weekend job.
All right, fair enough. Maybe I'm overly pissed off at the rig.
You
at
are
this
overly
point,
pissed off at that. I've rebuilt mine many times, and it's never had a problem.
But you know what I mean? It's just we're hitting a point where fundamentally it's just not working. The rig itself works fucking phenomenal, but the powertrain is just absolutely unfucking reliable, and trailering it long distance is becoming less and less appealing, even though I'm in the best position I've been in a long time to actually do that shit. And chopping the body off, taking 20 inches out of it and four-linking the front, none of that shit matters if it won't run.
No, kind of needs to
Valid.
do that.
So I'm redirecting my energy to unfucking its ability to run. And like I swear to God, if it fucks up at the Halloween ride, I might just end up shooting it with an AK through the block and
Hell yeah.
moving on.
America, baby. Just don't do it near a golf course. Sorry, too soon. My bad.
I get it.
You don't. That's well, that's fine. You guys don't keep up with current
Um,
things going on in the world, do you?
No.
You got me to start laughing, and I still have that cough that like
I'm
won't
sorry.
fucking go away, and it became one laugh into a cough because that was funny as fuck.
I'm happy somebody pays attention to the current times of things, but especially on an election year, it's crazy. But
But on that note, anyone got anything else?
no, I'd
All
say I'm
right,
pretty
well-
good.
Just keep in mind, BCOP with Crawler Off-Road saves you 10% on your recovery gear. And, things that happen randomly sometimes aren't always so fucking random, especially during an election year.
Yeah.
Do the best that you can to make sure that you and all of your loved ones are taken care of, and that's the best that you can do at this point.